everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday or Thursday, depending where you are upon the world. And recently I found an article from a website which says local gambling company under fire for mocking autism with Spurs sensory ad. So basically I want to talk to you about it as an autistic woman and give you my thoughts, and I'm going to read through the article, and I will link the article from Local Today down in the video description so you can read more about it. There is also a video I'll link down in the video description down below as well. So let's get into it. Gaming company Paddy Power has come under fire from two leading UK charities over an ad campaign that pitched a Spurs sensory room as part of a cheap jibe that mocks people with autism. The video, which was posted to Paddy Power's YouTube channel, showed fans visiting a fictional Spurs sensory centre, which shed light on the club's lack of recent success. The clip was removed shortly from the company's Twitter account, but remained on its YouTube channel at the time of publication. All 20 Premier League clubs have sensory rooms, which the Premier League club described as unique spaces that allow adults and children with disabilities such as autism to watch live games from a room with a window onto the pitch, allowing them to experience the game and the full action. The National Autistic Society, which is the UK's leading charity for autistic people and their families, criticised the ad, saying sensory spaces should be applauded and not ridiculed. Tim Nichols, the Director of Influence and Research at the National Autistic Society, has said, "We honestly have no idea what Paddy Power thought were the benefits of doing this film. We're really disappointed that they used the term sensory space as part of a cheap jibe. While we're glad they've now removed their social media posts, they should consider why the film was made in the first place. Sensory spaces aren't a punchline. They are an important way to support autistic people and their families in attending major sporting events like soccer games. Without this safe and soothing space, they could find the noise and large crowds completely overwhelming. Many sports clubs are taking big steps to make their venues more accessible to people with autism and their families. That should be applauded, not ridiculed. We want to see a world where every autistic football fan can go to the games they want, surrounded by understanding, acceptance and respect, as part of a society that cares about people with autism." Level Playing Field, a charity that works to provide an inclusive matchday experience for disabled fans, said Paddy Power's poor choice of words undermined the work being done to help all fans watch live games. They said in their statement, "While the advertisement does not specifically say or indicate sensory room, some people may associate the term sensory centre with a sensory room. Because of this unfortunate phrasing, the ad could be seen as distasteful and could undermine the excellent job that is done in esports to provide sensory spaces for the fans who rely on them to watch live sport. For many fans, sensory spaces are an essential access requirement. Clubs are working hard to create these spaces, and we have seen significant growth in this space and other key offerings. Recent awareness and growth in the provision of sensory spaces stems from many years of campaigning and showcasing the positive effects of having a sensory space. We will be reaching out to Paddy Power to explain how this ad can be viewed as distasteful and how it could detract from the importance of sensory spaces and the vital services that they provide. We have since reached out to Paddy Power for comment." So that's what the disability charities have said. So as an autistic woman, what are my thoughts? What do I think about this subject? Well, I'm glad that you've asked. I'm glad, let's start with this first bit. I'm glad that the advert has been removed from both their social media accounts now, because it should never have been uploaded in the first place, regardless if it was meant as a joke, a bit of a cheap stunt, a bit of a PA stunt. It should never have been named a sensory centre or a sensory joke, because again it does detract from the meaning of sensory centres, sensory rooms, sensory impact viewing for people with autism or physical disabilities that may find going to a football match or any kind of live arena event overwhelming. So I think that their choice of words was really distasteful, really disrespectful, and it does undermine the struggles that we go through as an autistic person every day. I'm glad that the National Autistic Society here in the UK have spoken up and voiced their opinion. I'm very happy to read their statement out. And I think that we also need to be very careful the words that we use with regards to people with autism or disability, because unless you live it every day and you need that sensory space, that calming space, that soothing space, don't use words like sensory centre, sensory room, inclusive room to make fun and do a PA stunt, because now you are going to get backfired. You are going to get people who are not very happy with you. You are going to get people who basically aren't very impressed with the fact that Paddy Power should have known better. As a gambling company, as a betting company, they should realise that a lot of their people who use their services are going to be on the spectrum. They are going to be people with disabilities who like to place a bet on football matches, on horse racing matches, on greyhound racing, etc. So for them to do this, I think it's just really a poor taste of words, a poor joke that has sadly backfired on them. I think on a daily basis we need to be a bit more careful with the match day experiences and how we offer support to autistic people in general. I think Paddy Power needs to have some training by autistic people and people with disabilities, go into their actual centres, their actual shops, and say, hey, take a few minutes to listen to us, listen to our experiences, listen to how we see the world, because I think that would then indicate how they could do better next time round to make sure a situation like this doesn't happen again. I think this was just an unfortunate situation that they didn't rethink through. They didn't rethink through the impact of it and their poor choice of wording, their poor choice of doing this film in general. I think it was just a big mistake on their part anyway. I think that if they could apologise for the harm that they've done and the criticisms that they've done in this film, then I think we could get back on track and communicate better, and we could help Paddy Power to make sure nothing like this happens again in the future. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments down below, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back on the next video. Bye!